Welcome back to the Champion Forum podcast, where we help leaders like you rise to your fullest potential and lead with purpose. Today, I want to talk to you about a topic that just doesn't get enough airtime, especially among high performers, and that's all of you listening in. And that's the dark side
This
of
is the
overachievement.
Champion Forum podcast with Jeff Hancher, the forum for leaders, champions, and dreamers.
You know, on the surface, this overachievement, it looks like success, doesn't it? High output, recognition, drive, accomplishment, trophies, all the things, right? But under the surface, overachievement can come at a real cost. It can come at a cost to your health. It can come at a cost to your relationships, meaning the people you care about most. It can come at a cost to your leadership. And it certainly can come at a cost to your long-term impact. So today, we're going to break this overachievement down. We're going to talk about why is it that we even become overachievers in the first place? What's the dark side of overachievement? What does that actually even look like? What are the hidden dangers of overachievement? And most importantly, how to shift your mindset and learn from a healthier, more sustainable place. And, oftentimes, truth be told, the content that I come up with this show is to teach myself. Yes, I am an overachiever. I'm proud to report that my overachieving has led to a lot of nice things. It's led to a lot of trophies. It's led to some stages. It's led to some nice trips in Caribbean islands. It's led to a lot of nice things, but it also has had some significant downsides. And so I've had to learn how to kind of readjust this overachievement along the way, but I've also had to look very deep inside to figure out what is causing this. Because I'm here to tell you, overachievement is not to be celebrated. And I know a lot of us, we get around the water cooler, us overachievers, and we kind of brag about it, and we kind of talk about our nuances. And it's kind of this badge that we wear. But I'm here to tell you, overachievement is not to be celebrated. But let's start here. Let's start with why is it that we become overachievers? You know, overachievement isn't always about ambition. I know you'd like to think that it is, but it's not. Sometimes it's actually rooted in fear. And yeah, we're going there. We're going to start right there. Let's talk about what are some of the most common root causes of this overachievement. One of them is insecurity and imposter syndrome. And you're looking at the guy right here that has battled through insecurity and imposter syndrome. And look, my message is out there. If you're a listener of the show, I talk about it a lot. If you're a first-time listener and maybe you've been watching me on social media, don't let the lights and the cameras and the action of social media fool you. These are things that I've had to wrestle through over the years. You know, this insecurity I'm talking about, trying to outrun the feelings that, maybe you're not good enough. You think if I just achieve a little bit more, I'll finally feel like maybe I'm validated, that maybe I'm good enough. You know, maybe what's causing this overachievement is some early childhood messaging that you received that you just haven't completely dealt with just yet. You might have grown up in an environment where love and care or approval, it was tied to performance. Hey, if you hit a home run, I'm gonna show you that I love you. If you get an A on your test, and maybe you always felt like you had to achieve to get love, to feel loved. Maybe you had this feeling as a child that's boiled over into your adulthood that I'm only really valuable if I'm winning. If I'm winning, I feel love. But if I'm not winning, maybe I don't. And then let's sprinkle on this comparison culture that we're living in now more than ever, with the likes of TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts, and you go down the list, LinkedIn, everybody's a rock star. This social media peer pressure, it might make you feel like you're constantly behind. If I'm not growing, if I'm not producing, then I'm behind. Because when I go onto Instagram and when I go onto LinkedIn, I see people winning. I see people taking nice trips. I see people in private jets. I see people up at 5 a.m. in the gym working out. And so there's this comparison culture that's always happening. And then there's this fear of irrelevance or slowing down. I mean, the only way to win is to be in a dead sprint from sun up till sundown every single day, right? No. But this fear of irrelevance can be a really real thing. It has been for me. And I will tell you this, I would say even more so for high achievers. Stillness feels like death. It feels like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm relaxing. Well, relaxing is the enemy of achievement, right? So I got to keep moving because I start getting this fear of irrelevance. You start measuring your worth by what you do, not who you are. And if I'm in the doing instead of in the being, if I'm doing, then I'm achieving. Because then I feel like I'm at least relevant because I'm out here rising and grinding, right? Maybe not so much. But then there's this last one that is this work as an escape, as an outlet, as crazy as that might sound. Overachievement, it often masks something. It masks pain. It masks conflict. It might mask identity confusion, meaning your whole identity is wrapped up in your work. And it might also be masking this lack of purpose. I don't really know what my real purpose is, you might say. But you might be masking pain from old skeletons in the closet, pain from childhood trauma that you haven't fully dealt with. You might be just trying to get away from conflict. And so you just, look, by the way, like who can down a person that's out there working hard? Because working hard, what we would say is that that's a good trait in somebody. That's a good quality that somebody would have as hard worker, because then I can walk through the door at night and say, I'm doing this for the family. Are you? Are you really? Or are you escaping something? Here's a question that I have for you. What's the real reason you push hard? I mean the real reason. Is it truly vision or is it fear? If it's vision, hats off. You can hit the stop button now and go to, wait till the next week's episode. But if there's a little ounce of fear, by the way, keep listening even if it's not you, because I'm going to tell you this. You're going to run into somebody that is going to need this message. You're going to need to lead somebody through this, right? Because it's a real thing. But ask yourself the question, why am I pushing so hard? Why am I? Is it because of the real big vision I have and my passion? Or am I running so hard because I'm in fear? There's a dark side of this overachievement. Here's the hard truth. What looks like strength can become a weakness when it's not checked. You got to check yourself before you wreck yourself, right? This dark side is real. It includes a lot of bad things that can come and creep into your life that can cripple you and make you become stagnant. One of those is burnout. We've talked about burnout on this show. We talk about burnout a lot in our executive mastermind. Why? Because it is real. And it's a big problem. This constant performance, always on, always running, always sprinting, it leads to emotional and physical depletion. We're just absolutely wiped out mentally. Sometimes, I coach people that tell me, Jeff, there's times that I'm just sitting at my desk and I just start crying and I don't even know why. You're burnt out. You are burnt out. Your overachievement is getting the best of you. You're exhausted. You're disengaged. And what do you do when you're exhausted and disengaged and crying? You just keep pushing the gas. Just keep pushing the gas. Because if I keep achieving, if I keep doing, all of this is going to work itself out. And what's this lead to? Burnout's best friend, disconnection. Disconnection's real. And if you're listening and that's you, you know what I'm talking about. You start becoming disconnected from your team. You become disconnected from your own family. And you start slowly but surely even disconnecting from yourself. Relationships that you do have, they become transactional. And people feel, I would say, used by you, not led. Because it's just a pawn in the game of achievement. If you're finding that the relationships that are in your life right now, whether it's the people that you lead or even your own family or people that you've called friends for years, feel very transactional, meaning whenever you go to your nephew or niece's birthday party, you're dreading it the whole way, and you feel like, oh, here I go. I got to put a big smile on my face and blow sunshine for the next 60 minutes. This might be you. It might be you. And look, I get it. There's times that I just want to shut down and unwind. But if this is a common theme for you, you might be falling into this trap. The other thing that you know is a sign is perfectionism. And look, I've talked bluntly about my perfectionist mindset. Nothing's ever good enough. You overanalyze, you micromanage. You're stalling growth by not letting others fail forward. Why? Because you have a pulse on everything. Why? Because nobody else could do it as perfect as you could do it. And what does that lead to? Burnout. And what does that lead to? Disconnection. You see this cycle that starts to happen with the overachiever? And what does all this end up leading to? An identity crisis, literally. Your job becomes who you are. Your title becomes who you are. If the business struggles, you feel like a failure. You personally feel like a failure. And look, I'm all about taking responsibility and owning it. I'm here for it. But if your job becomes your identity, you're probably an overachiever. And there's some opportunity for you to have a healthier balance. And ultimately, what's going to happen after this identity crisis is you're going to create a toxic culture in your organization, in your team, in the people that you lead. And it's going to be your fault. And you're going to know that it's happening and it exists. And you're going to defend and you're going to blame. And if this is you, let me pause here and say, I'm having this conversation because I care. I'm not here to bash you. I'm not here to condemn you. You're talking to a guy that has wrestled and wrestles through these dynamics. I'm bringing up this topic because I want you to have an opportunity to identify it and move through it. If you never get rest, guess who else probably isn't feeling restful? Your team. You unconsciously create a culture of fear, fatigue, unrealistic expectations. First one in, last one out. If you're not the first one in and the last one out, everybody gets this sense that you just don't care. There's no effort. You care more about having fun than you do, driving results. And I'm all for some extra effort. Listen, anybody on my team knows, anybody around me knows. I'm not going to be outworked many times. But I got to tell you, if not put in check, you're putting everybody on edge. Everybody is on edge because they feel like that has to be the standard. And if I'm not doing it that way, I might as well be telling my boss, I'm a failure. And there's some real life examples of this. You might be listening today and you're what I call the hero CEO, the hero leader, right? First one in, last one out. Make every decision. You might even be admired. But here's what they're not telling you. You're also resented. Your team is underdeveloped because you've never given them space to grow. They're not really being led by you. They're just reporting to you. And then the other person is the burned out reverent leader. Reverent leader that's just wiped out. This is that leader that they're driven by purpose, but they're exhausted. Like deep in them, they have a drive in them, they have a purpose in them, but they are sheer, plain out, full stop, spent. They're always saying yes. Why? Because they're reverent. They're always saying yes. I don't want to tell people no, I'm reverent. I care. I'm a servant leader. I'm here for the people. They're constantly available. Eventually, they end up losing their family, the people that they love. They end up losing their joy. Why? Because they're so busy serving other people. They're overachieving. There has to be balance here. And then you have the perfectionist leader. We kind of talked about this one a little bit. Their team feels like it's never good enough. Nothing ever feels complete. Nothing ever feels done. We've never arrived at the finish line ever once. What happens? Innovation stalls. People start hiding their mistakes. Why? Because unless it's perfect, I'm not going to approach this. No, sir. Why don't we just hide that thing under the carpet, sweep it right under there, and hope that nobody ever finds it? And what ultimately happens with that perfectionistic leader is trust erodes in the name of excellence. Any of these examples resonating with you? Hey, if they do, let me tell you, you are not alone. I coach multiple senior leaders. I have an executive mastermind of nearly 45, 50 people. I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot of people. And we all share some of these same challenges. There's a better mindset for sustainable leadership. I'm here to encourage you. If you've seen yourself in any of this, any of these examples that I've talked about up to this point, do not beat yourself up. I'm with you. I'm Jeff. I'm your buddy. I'm on the journey with you. A lot of us have just learned to survive this way. And we're justifying the trophies and the W-2 and all the stuff. But here's the shift in the mindset that has to happen. We have to go from performance to purpose. From performance to purpose. Don't lead just to prove something. Lead because you believe in something. That's a mindset shift. You know, purpose-driven leaders, they know the path. And they know when to push. But they also know something very valuable, and that's when to pause. We got to shift our mindset from always more to a shift to strategically less. Strategically less, man, it can set you free. You know, this is when the leader says, I'm going to be ruthless with prioritizing my time and what I'm putting my attention to. Not everything that screams is urgent. You know, we've talked about this on the show. Focus on what truly moves the needle. I recently had a conversation with my friend Chris Robinson. You all know him from the Maxwell team. He says it best when he says it this way. He says, busyness is the new stupid. Isn't that profound? I think it's so true and so profound that being busy isn't always the answer. Being overly busy might mean that you're an overachiever. So we got to change some of these mindsets. We got to go from being hero to being multiplier, right? We don't need another hero. We need somebody that's a multiplier. Great leaders develop leaders. Step back. Let others take the spotlight. That's a leadership's legacy. That's a legacy of a great leader. Anytime that you see somebody that is creating legacy, it's because they're focused on people and reproducing other leaders. There's some very practical things that I have done throughout this journey of overachievement that I know that you can absolutely apply to your own journey as well. And the first thing is to audit your calendar. Is your time aligned with your top values? Or is your time aligned with your insecurities? There's a big difference in that shift. And when you're looking at that calendar, schedule in some margin. Schedule in some margin. You need some time to what? Rest. I'm saying it. If you needed to hear this, let me say it here so that you can hear it. And I'm going to say it loud for the people in the back. Rest is not a weakness. It's strategic recovery. You need to rest. Even your physical body, the best trainers in the world will tell you, the muscle when it's worked, it grows fastest when it rests. You work that thing, and the best trainer will tell you, get good sleep. Why? Because you're literally feeding that muscle. So you got to schedule some rest. And define what enough is. I'm not talking about just keep going, foot to the pedal to the metal. I'm talking about define what enough is before you begin the mission. What does success look like? Have you defined it? What does it look like in your work? What does it look like in your family? What does it look like in your day-to-day life? Set healthy boundaries. And look, man, when you start looking in this mirror, you're going to get some stingers. You know, I was sitting at the family dining room table having dinner, and I'm talking about running and this and that and doing and all the things and the book launch and all good things, by the way. All good things. Nobody can criticize me. I'm out here doing good things. I'm serving people. I'm trying to take care of my family. I'm doing all these things. And my son spoke up and said something so profound. He said, Dad, you know what I think? I said, what's that? He said, I think you need a hobby. I'm like, huh. I said to him, I'm like, what is it that I would even do? And I began thinking, we kind of had a laugh about it and whatnot, but later that night, I'm laying in bed and I'm thinking to myself, if Jeff Hancher had a hobby, what would it be? Gosh, I don't know how long it's been. But I thought, man, this would be a great way to connect to an outlet to just get my mind off the grind, right? And so I'm going to be intentional. I took that feedback and I started thinking about it. What's it going to be? It's got to be something. I might start playing disc golf with my friend Brad. I mean, Brad Martin here in studio. This dude can throw a disc. Now, he's probably going to whoop me, but it ain't even about that. I'll probably overachieve and be out on the disc golf course like till midnight, right? I don't know. But man, find time. Joking aside, like we have to find time to rest and define what is enough. And if you don't know, come to this next conclusion. Ask for feedback. Let your team in. Let your spouse in. Let your friends in. Let people speak into your blind spots. I mean, there's a lot of people that pay me by the hour to give them feedback. And it's transparent and it's candid, and I do everything I can to earn the right to have the tough conversations. But I can tell you this, I have yet to coach somebody at the highest level of leadership that didn't have a blind spot. And you know what they say? When they sign that contract that we're moving forward, what they're telling me, even if they don't know it, is, I'm ready for some feedback. What a great first step, isn't it? Reconnect with your identity outside of work. Reconnect. What was it that you did when you were 14 years old? Do you need to go buy a pack of baseball cards and, work through those cards? You're more than your role. You're more than your title at work. Rediscover the human that you are behind the leadership title that is on your business card. And practice delegation. And trust people. Let go of the control. Let others grow through responsibility. This is what we need to do. We cast vision, we empower, we release. This is a great way not to be an overachiever. If you're not empowering people and delegating in a healthy way, you're probably an overachiever, which is also going to lead to burnout. So as we close this segment, I want to challenge you. Overachievement might impress people, but it can also isolate you. It's going to exhaust you. And eventually, I'm going to say it, it's going to disqualify you. True leadership, it's not about doing more. It's about becoming more. More what? More whole? More humble? More aware? More intentional? I want you to ask yourself, what am I chasing? And why? Who am I becoming in this process? Who am I becoming in this journey? You don't have to lead with a chip on your shoulder. You can lead from conviction versus compensation. You can lead from your heart versus what's on that pay stub. Keep showing up. Keep growing. Keep pushing through the overachievement. But let's do this the right way. Not at the expense of everything that matters most to us. Not at the expense of developing the people that have trusted us to lead them well. Not at the expense of the people that we sit around family dinner with. Not at that expense. Till next week, keep the main thing, and keep turning that pressure into potential.
The Champion Forum Podcast with Jeff Hancher. Lead, inspire, win.